Cornering a mountain bike is an essential skill, and it's one that probably takes the longest of all the skills to really dial in. Today we're going to go over how I got better at cornering, and I might be able to show you a few tips that could possibly help you out as well. We're actually not going to study corners like this. Instead, we're going to go practice some drills to make this simpler. For a very consistent place to practice your cornering techniques, I like to use baseball diamond infields. Back in California, they were very hard packed with really loose, slippery dirt on top, and sure enough, while they almost always made you slide and almost crash, it was very predictable once you got the hang of it when you would actually slide out. This is also one of the hardest types of terrains to be good at cornering at, so if you can practice on what's the hardest, when you get back to terrain that has good traction, you're only going to be a better rider. A simple slalom drill isn't that hard to set up, and it practices the basics really efficiently. I don't have traffic cones or anything, so I just use old water bottles. Now, the actual drills itself, you want to have enough speed that you can actually feel the bike slide and move around a little. So in these here, I'm actually going a little bit slower than would be optimal. We got kicked out of this baseball field right before I could actually open the course up a bit, and it turns out someone had paid to have this prepped. While our tire marks weren't a big deal, they didn't want the white lines to get messed up. Notice we never once go over the white line. The basic technique you want to learn here is the transfer of weight from the front wheel to the rear wheel. Going into the corner, as you begin to slow and initiate your turn, you need to lean forwards and then rock back on the handlebar, pulling back a little bit at the apex of the corner. This will also initiate a bit of a pump. Notice that I often end up pedaling right as I'm starting to lose traction. This will regain traction and help me accelerate out of the corner. Notice I'm leaning my bike as much as traction allows and weighting my outside foot. For your first few times practicing this, use flat pedals because you will slide out both tires, the front tire, the rear tire. You're gonna end up on the ground, and flat pedals will allow you to dab your way much more safely and ride out of the corner. The way exactly you do this drill isn't as important as the fundamentals that you practice. Once again, the key fundamentals are braking before you get to the corner, proper rearwards body positioning while you're braking, leaning forwards to initiate the corner, and then pulling back on the handlebar and pumping backwards with some pedaling to pull out of the turn. Now that you've practiced leaning forwards to initiate the corner, pulling back on the handlebars to pump through it, leaning the bike down and weighting your outside foot, let's apply those techniques to the trail. Notice how as soon as I complete the pump, I start pedaling to exit the turn cleanly. One of my favorite things in all of mountain biking is a well-timed S-turn. The flowiest of all corners, it's very similar to a regular 90 or 180, but you need to anticipate the transfer of momentum from one direction to the other. A small pop off the ground is an easy way to reposition the bike for the second corner. In this case, I don't pull off my rearwards pump soon enough and my front wheel starts to wash out. That rearward pull on the handlebars for a big pump is essential to corner properly, and it sets you up nicely to pop off a kind of an obstacle at the outside of any old corner. Now, do you even drift, bro? No, I don't really drift much, but sometimes they'll naturally happen if I'm just happening to go faster than I can safely pump through a turn. When you have the opportunity to pick between an inside and an outside line in a corner, I try to figure out which line's gonna have the faster exit speed. In this case, I'm really torn between which of these two lines, inside or the outside, is gonna be a better bet. In the end, I do think the outside line in this case was better because it could get more full pedal strokes in and corner more cleanly. I hope you guys learned something from this video. For me, the biggest thing with getting better at turning was simply practice with those drills at the baseball diamond infields. I still do those every once in a while, but I honestly need to do those a ton more. Let me know in the comments below or back on Patreon which techniques you want to go over in the month of July. It's been fun hanging out and talking bikes. I'll talk to you guys later.